our way, it's a line I always use, clean your side of the street. And if you feel like shit, or you're eating like crap, or you're not training and you feel terrible, well, how can you be the parent you want to be? How can you be the employer that you want to be, or employee? How can you perform at that level? And you can't. So in a way, most people would consider it selfish, but I've always said to myself, my most important client is myself.
Welcome to the Hard Way podcast with Joe Sena, founder and CEO of Spartan Races. We're teaching you how to overcome your obstacles in your life the same way we teach our 10 million plus Spartans to overcome obstacles on the course, with insight from the smartest, most accomplished experts from every corner of the world. Get ready to elevate your life today. Unbox your best self with the food, coaching, and community support you need to reach your goals. Trifecta delivers delicious, micro-balanced meals directly to your door, no matter your diet. Clean, keto, paleo, vegan, or vegetarian, Trifecta is your nutrition partner for your best self.
25-year-old friend here. It's funny. He didn't know he was going to be with me. I didn't know I was going to be with him. And the guy that set it up behind the scenes was like, this is a really interesting guy. I was like, I know him. We know each other a long time. Don Saladino, trainer to like the movie stars and whoever else he'll tell us, but had an unbelievable gym, like a ridiculous gym. What was it called?
Yeah, you're right there. Drive 495, and that was one in Soho, and then I had another one, Drive 443 on Park Avenue South. So,
but this was like the slickest of slickest. It was beautiful, and only people that could afford it would go in, and you'd go in there. It was like, think of a high-end restaurant where like the movie stars and the gangsters go. That's what he had in New York. And I just found out, we were talking for a few minutes before it started, that you no longer have those locations.
Yeah, our 15-year lease expired in May of 2020. So May 31st, 2020, my Drive 485 lease expired. My 443 one, I sold that gym off a few years earlier. It was more of a group training spot, just kind of not really our lane, but it did well for us. And then Drive, I cut my landlord 3 months of rent and taxes. I think that was like about $180,000 I paid him through COVID. I was probably the only gym owner to pay a landlord in full through COVID, just because I ran into a lot of rough times in those 15 years, and I promised myself I would see it through, and I wanted to grit it out. So he obviously appreciated that. We started going to a new term sheet. Couldn't really settle on anything till September, to where I turned to him and said, listen, Cuomo is saying that we can open at 33% capacity. Our deal that we set up is not going to work for me. This is what works for me. And I think we just decided to part ways. So at that point, it was actually more of a blessing for me, because I took my whole community, everything that I had built with all my actors and, professional athletes, and I really built this incredible online platform. And to be perfectly honest, I mean, we did better in 6 months with Dino Brands, which is the name of my company now, DonSaladino.com, that is. And we did better in 6 months than we ever did in our best year at Drive, by like tenfold. So it actually turned out to be a blessing and allowed me to exit something that really, I think, allowed me a level of significance for a year. I think it was really to be able to exit something that you loved so gracefully, and I was actually thrilled about it, was definitely a blessing.
Isn't it funny in life? We could look at anything that is causing pain, uncomfortable, whatever, as a curse and be upset with it. Like, I'm sure that's what it felt like with the gym closing and everything. And then it turns out to be fantastic.
Yeah, it was interesting, because, I sat down with one of my advisors and I was like, man, a part of me is telling me, I don't want to do this. Like, I just went through 15 years and I'm actually bummed that I don't want to do this, but all the arrows are pointing in the direction of like, don't do this. Like, you're making so much more money. You're so much happier. You've eliminated all of this commute, all of this risk. And there was no reason to do it except keeping relationships, which I've done a pretty good job in maintaining. But sometimes you got to make these decisions, and trust me, it's on the terms that I wanted to make it. There were times where I was going to bed. I mean, I almost missed 37 consecutive payrolls, at Drive. I mean, I literally lit $100,000 on fire for a full year. I had to raise money and burn it down through training. I had to burn over $1 million down in training personally over, I think, about 18 months. It's a lot of training, right? Or it was probably a little bit longer than that. So, I mean, and that was all because we went personal. So the landlord could have went after us. So it was really learning curves for us. I mean, man, putting yourself in that situation and having to stick it out, not being able to back out was, I think, an education that, most people aren't going to learn at Harvard Business School, right? Business. You could go to the best business school on the planet, but until you're in it, Joe, until you're going through that you had to go through, through COVID and years before that with all your companies and all your ventures, it's pretty tough to teach in a classroom.
No, I don't think anybody understands. My dad used to say when I was a kid, you've got to have a stomach with a steel trap to be an entrepreneur. And I didn't really understand it, but you and I and many entrepreneurs got tested during the pandemic.
Oh yeah. Big time. And not always what you sign up for, right? I mean, a lot of entrepreneurs sign up for the things that look like, the glory, like, oh, I want to own my own place and have my name on a wall. And, they don't realize that sometimes lawsuits are going down, or sometimes there's arguments with the landlord because, who's responsible for that leak. And actually a really funny mentor of mine he said, Don, he's like, what are you so upset of? You've got to battle with your landlord right now. There's not a day I'm not sitting on the toilet where I'm not getting sued. Like, you signed up for this. And I started laughing and I thought about it. I'm like, yeah, unfortunately, it's not a reflection on whether I'm a good or bad person. I know I'm a good person. I think sometimes you don't agree on things with people. And, unfortunately, you got to go to that next level.
How did you, I'm remembering the gym now. It's etched in my brain. There were so many powerful people going in and out of that place.
Yeah.
How did you acquire those customers? How did you find them originally?
It was really from building that culture. I think it really started with me with Hugh Jackman, and I got him ready for a movie called Wolverine in Australia back right around when my daughter was born. So that was probably about 16 years ago. And I remember there was no real social media, or maybe social media was starting and no one really was paying attention to it. And I remember Hugh turned to me throughout our training. I trained him for almost a year. And he said, let's do I've got, I think it was like Men's Vogue wants to do a story. And I turned to him and I was like, no, to this day, I was like, why did I say no? Right? It's stupid. But I was so concerned with his privacy. I was so concerned with his experience and him knowing that I'm in this for one thing only, and that's to get him ready for his movie role. So I definitely took it to an extreme, but you know what? I think it was that attitude which allowed him now to turn to some of the most high profile people on the planet. Everyone from Calvin Klein to Ryan Reynolds. I mean, go on and on and on. I mean, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson used to train at my place. Like, there wasn't a day you were in there where you didn't see someone, but it was a safe spot for everyone. No one was holding phones on their hip, taking pictures or videos. These celebs, these very powerful individuals felt like they can go in there and feel safe and protected. And I think that word of mouth just led, and it really created something special.
You stuck to your principles, even though you could have made a move that would have really expanded the business.
Most people would have, but I think that long-term play that I had allowed me to, I can really go down as far to say is there's probably not a spot on the planet that housed more people like that. And was I proud of that? Yeah, I was proud of that. Not because it was, actors and celebrities in there. I was proud of that because it showed me that they were, underneath this very safe umbrella. And it was something that they felt like it was the one place they can go to, and it was their, safe zone. I keep using this word.
Their safe place, but it wasn't just the safety. I mean, you must have delivered the goods.
Oh yeah. We were great coaches. I mean, I had a team of about 30 coaches. We had a mentorship program. We had a curriculum. Our coaches met. We never forced our coaches to meet for Friday meetings, but it was something where I had a director of education. His name was Chris Wykus. He was phenomenal. And every Friday we had, our PTs, our head director of education, Chris. They would sit down and we would teach. I would come in and I would speak, and we would cover anything from training techniques to physical therapy to social media. And we would always motivate our coaches. We were always hosting courses. We were always going to courses. It really became a place where I feel like it was one of those spots where we trained coaches to turn around and start their own businesses and, become very successful.
I'm pretty sure I started Spartan out of your gym. I think about it.
I think you did, because it went from Body Wrench. I think you went from Body Wrench to Spartan.
What year? Yeah, because if that was like 2008, I'm pretty sure Spartan came out of that gym.
I think so. Upstairs in the golf lounge, you would have, I give you the spot and you would just have meetings out of there.
Yeah.
And you had teams running in and out. And yeah, I remember we spent a lot of time together back then. It's cool to see Spartan come to fruition because I know it wasn't always, easy. I know you took your bumps, right?
Well, I mean, listen, you'd understand it better than anybody, but we're selling discomfort. We're selling discipline. We're selling commitment.
Right.
There's not many people that want to buy that.
Right.
Right. That's a tough sell.
You're also selling something that I think people can really prepare for. And, it's somewhat of this community element. Like my community right now is pretty large. And I remember, I think a group of like 10 people came in. One of them was my mother-in-law. She flew in from Las Vegas, and they all met and they went through one of your Spartan events together. And, my kids and my wife, and they all showed up and they all did it together. I was working, I was doing something else, but just the experience and the camaraderie and what they went through together, in a way, it's like, going into, playing in a big game together, right? They all left there. It almost joins people together in this bond. And I think it's a beautiful thing.
It's funny, right? Because those 10 people you just described could have went to dinner. They could have went to a bar. They could have watched a game. But when you actually sweat together and like you're scared together and you come out the other side together, there's something special.
It's funny, this whole networking world. Remember when especially in your business, when you were in the finance business for a while, right? So networking was this term we used to hear. Back in 1999 is when I started as a coach. It's like, oh, I'm going to a networking event. And you would think about it. It was like, I roll my eyes. All right, so you're going to some hotel bar and people are meeting with each other and they're trying to like strum business off each other. And it's like bad food and cocktails. And like, I'd almost roll my eyes to it. Now and you started seeing it. People want more now. Like a lot of the successful people I'm around, they don't want to go out for dinner and drinks. They want to get a workout in and have a protein shake. And they want to be home with their family at night now. It's really changed a lot. Or do an event where you could feel the sense of accomplishment when you finish.
You've got goals, and we can help you reach them. Trifecta is an immersive weight loss program built on science-backed principles that actually work. Step 1, answer a few lifestyle questions. Then set your goal weight, and we'll give you a personalized plan on how to reach it. Step 2, the Trifecta app is like a virtual coach in your pocket. Look out for daily education and nutrition tips as you begin gaining momentum on your journey. Step 3, let Trifecta be your personal chef and dietitian too. Eliminate the guesswork and kitchen burnout with pre-portioned macro-balanced meals delivered to your door. They're crafted using organic ingredients with different meals arriving each week. Simply unwrap, heat up, then eat. Step 4, you can change your plan anytime or pause or skip weeks. Hitting a roadblock on your journey? We have a plan for that too. We'll arm you with ways to break through plateaus and get right back on track. All that's left to do is crush your goals. Get started today.
We 10x'd our business on Wall Street when I pivoted and I said, we're not doing these expensive dinners anymore, the drinks, the stupid things that are just a waste. We're all going to do hard things. We're going to do hot yoga. We're going to run in the stairwell. We're going to go do a marathon with our clients. We're going to take them to Alaska. And we literally 10x'd our business.
It's so smart too. I mean, at a certain point, people are just so tired of feeling like, when you're in that entertaining world and you're out, you're having drinks. I mean, even my friends who have to do it now, like, oh God, I got three, dinners this week. And they're like rolling their eyes. Like in the moment it's fun, but they're just tired. Everyone puts on body fat. Everyone feels like crap. Everyone's become sleep deprived. Their mood, everything just changes for the negative. And it's like, you wonder why that, everyone's still doing this when so many people are unhappy.
Because it's easier.
It is.
So Ryan Reynolds, some of these folks, like how do they get in shape overnight with you and everybody else can't?
Well, Joe, I mean, it's not overnight, right? It's everyone wants this 20-day fix or this, cleanse, this 3-day cleanse. And, unless that's kickstarting you to put you in a good direction, I never promote that stuff. Now, if someone's like, oh, I need a 3-day cleanse, but I'm going to go to this nutrition plan, it's about longevity and it's about metabolic flexibility and consuming proteins and fats and carbs, and that's the way I like to detoxify people, right? So someone like Ryan, like they keep it up all year long. Now, Ryan's a perfect example. That's someone who's become a business monster over the last 6, 7 years. I mean, he's become very entrepreneurial. He's very good at marketing. I mean, he's probably the best I've seen. And there's times where, he's traveling and maybe he can't get that workout session in on a Monday, but he's doing it Tuesday. And it's not something he ever really falls off on because he understands that feeling good for him is very important. That's our way. It's a line I always use: clean your side of the street. And if you feel like shit, or you're eating like crap, or you're not training and you feel terrible, well, how can you be the parent you want to be? How can you be the employer that you want to be, or employee? How can you perform at that level? And you can't. So in a way, most people would consider it selfish, but I've always said to myself, my most important client is myself. Because if I'm waking up every day and I feel terrible, how the hell am I going to be able to do what I need to do? And when I met my wife, I told her, I said, listen, you're going to find me really weird at times. At 4 a.m, you might see me leaving to go for a run, or we might be on a Disney trip and you and the kids might be waiting in the room for me to get back from my workout. This is what I need to do to survive. And this is what I need to do to feel like I can give myself. And she got it. She never got my way of that. And I think that's really important also. So the people I work with, it's really teaching them that, listen, we can prepare for something. And I get if you're not ready and we have to get you ready, but this is being healthy is something that you not only owe to yourself, but you owe to the people around you.
So it's not a one-time fix. Like if you're taking in somebody famous and you're getting them in shape for a role, you got to build a base of the triangle.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really hoping to rewire them. So if there's someone who comes to me, and it's very rare, like I've never worked out, like I never really hear that anymore, or I hate working out, it's really my job to, convince them that they need this. I don't care if you're doing it 7 days a week or 3 days a week, but this has got to be something that's regular in your life. And that's something I think I've done a really good job in my career. Like I think adjusting to each individual, coaching each individual, and allowing them to now think about this, meaning me or training, as a necessity rather than being a luxury. Because you used to hear that. Like when I worked for a big box gym back in '99, people would come in, I don't know if I can afford this. Like, really? Like you just told me the other day that you went to a $250 dinner, you opened a nice bottle of wine. Like, what's important to you? If that's important to you, I'm probably not your guy. I'm not someone who's just going to sit here and entertain you. I'm about taking on people that want to change their life. And that's why I think I've had a high level of success in this business.
I like that. Like if you demand results.
Yeah. If you don't I'm not here to, no offense here, but I'm not here to hold your hand. I'm not here to act as a therapist, even though sometimes it does go in that, but you've got to feel like you need this. And I understand this is a job, right? Like, have I become good friends with a lot of my clients? Absolutely. And I'm proud of that. But I also understand that if I'm not doing my job, I should be replaced. Like I am expendable. Like I am good at what I do. I know that. And I'm very grateful to be put on the, pedestal that I've been put on, but I also understand that I am replaceable. And if I stop doing, or if I suddenly develop this ego, then, I'm not doing right by my people.
I love that. What tips would you give to people? I mean, I know we want everybody to dive, head first in, start eating more salad, start drinking more water, start going but the reality is people want baby steps. They want stuff they can commit to, right? That's not overwhelming. What would you say?
I think for a lot of people, the line I get is, I just want to want it. Like, oh God, I wish I just wanted it. Or, Joe, like you're a lunatic when it comes to your training, right? Like there's very few people on the planet that are going to do what you do. We can't expect most people to do that, even though there's a small percentage of disciples that are following you and that are doing it. But I think for the person that's struggling, just do more, just do a little more. Like it's, you know what? You sat on a couch 365 days last year. Guess what? I would put you on a 10-minute workout, 100%. Like you were walking 4,000 steps a day on average. Let's make it 6, right? It's just doing a little. Well, is that enough? It's enough for right now. You ate fast food 3 times a day. Can we cut it down to 1 time a day? You drank 7 nights. Can we cut it down to 1 night? Like whatever it is, I'm just trying to show people some improvement, because sometimes a minimalistic approach can show a result. And that becomes motivating. So people ask for motivation. Motivation, I think, is really easy when you're showing someone progress, when you're showing someone that they can get better, or you're showing, oh, wow, I'm doing this job and I can make more money. What happens if I do more of this? It's like, but the problem is that people dive into it and they try and do Joe's program or Don's program, which I don't expect most people to do. and they get discouraged and they fall off. So I think as a coach, we're doing people an injustice when we're throwing the A program at them. Coaching is about recognizing who you're working with and just finding that right temperature to apply to them. And then as you get them going and they're building confidence and like, I feel better. Oh, I'm sleeping better. Oh my God, I lost a belt size. What's next? That's where the magic is.
So don't sign them up for the death race right away.
I would start with maybe a Spartan, right? And then we can get to the death race is what I'm saying.
How important is sleep? I see you writing about sleep these days.
I think the two most important things I'm asking someone is, how's your sleep? And I'm probably looking into digestion or hydration, like right in those areas. Like I'm normally asking, what's your sleep like? What's your digestion and hydration like? And those three things I feel like hydration is like a non-negotiable, right? Like if you're not drinking enough water, we got to fix that now. Like that's not something we're like, oh, let's build up to it. Like we're trying to increase our calories or decrease. No, it's like hydration needs to get fixed. Sleep is something over time we need to improve. And there's so many ways to go about doing that. I'm going to quote Paul Chek from, I think 30 years ago, I heard him say this in a conference that, sleep is one of the best things for our hormones, which is one of the best fat burners. Everyone wants fat burners, right? And it's free, right? So if we could just slowly start figuring out ways to improve sleep duration, sleep quality, you're going to notice that your energy improves, your skin, all these things start improving. And if our energy improves, then we want to be more active, and then, good things are going to happen. But I can write the best program. I can give you Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool 3 program. It's like, if you're not getting within that range, in my opinion, like you're shooting yourself in the foot.
Drink water and sleep.
Yeah, look at this, right? It's like,
I love it. I'm gonna have you do a little video when we're done with this for my kid's wrestling coach, who's an absolute badass maniac. But he said to me this morning, half joking, he said, if I drink more, I got to go piss more. I was like,
ouch. I honestly, like, I'm sure he's not serious about that, but people who pass comments like that, even on social media, like I find them a bit dangerous, right? Like I heard someone on social media the other day talking about, performance enhancing substances. And listen, I'm not saying I'm any better than the next because I've never taken them. I just haven't had a need for them. My hormones panel has always been good. I'm not a professional bodybuilder. I'm promoting something. But when someone gets on and they start talking about something and it starts influencing others and it's bad information, I consider that person dangerous. So I think that's been a battle in social media lately. Is there are a lot of people out there voicing their opinion, not understanding that my 14-year-old son can be easily influenced. You have a 10-year-old child, I'm sure they're going to be easily influenced when they're listening to, someone giving their opinion on TikTok.
I've definitely been considered one of the most dangerous and wanted men around because
but you own it, man. It's. Listen, you own what you do, and you to each his own.
I got people doing crazy stuff all over the world and getting muddy and crawling under barbed wire.
I got no problem with muddy. Muddy's all right.
So how do people join your program now that you don't have the club in the city? What are they doing?
Yeah, it's great. So thank you for asking. We have 3 different, I call them branches. I've got my challenges, which, I've got a nice community and they enter in every month and they get their program and their nutrition guide. And they actually have the ability to be coached by me 5 days a week. So they'll fire off questions in a private Facebook group and I'm answering them. So they can send me video of how they're executing exercises, their macro breakdowns, and I'm actually sitting there answering their questions through video. So it's actually me. I sell programs globally for people who just want to be left alone. It's like, I want to buy a one-off. Ryan Reynolds Deadpool Program 1, we just launched for the first time this last week. It's doing great. And then I have my app, and my app is a library of about 10 different workout programs. You're left alone. I give the programs in the app all access to my fitness community, and my fitness community, and then they have an opportunity to ask questions to me, every week or so. But my challenges is where I coach you daily, and that's donsaladino.com.
All right. Well, no one should follow him if they want to look like Ryan Reynolds or Blake Lively. You should just avoid him and stay exactly the way you are and be happy.
Go do a Spartan race. It's pretty impressive stuff what you did, Joe. It's pretty awesome.
You're absolutely awesome. I'm so glad we serendipitously connected again.
I love it. Anything I could do, you let me know. Love what you're doing. Yeah, keep me posted when this goes live.
I'm afraid to be around you. I might start another business.
Hey, not a bad thing. You're pretty good at it.
We started Trifecta with a very singular mission: to get America into shape. We were really interested in launching a business that was able to actually directly help people. That happened to be us helping with the chronic disease crisis that's caused by nutrition. We make it with organic ingredients, macro balanced meals, fully biodegradable packaging.
Trifecta's here. Oh yeah!
We have an amazing company mission to help get America back into shape.